Welcome to the What I Wish I Knew After Pregnancy Loss podcast. I am your host, Shana Southern. I am an angel mum, a rainbow mum, a pregnancy loss practitioner, and trauma-informed coach. I created the Institute of Healing Through Pregnancy Loss out of my own experience with loss in the hopes to provide understanding and healing, educating people on pregnancy loss, and creating more women or men in trained support roles. In this podcast, I hope to shed light on what I wish I knew in relation to pregnancy loss, opening up the conversation, breaking the stigma, and bringing real-life stories plus guest experts. Thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, welcome back. I wanted to jump in with something special for you. Over our recent 3-day event, we dove deep into the essential layers of trauma-informed care, support for pregnancy loss, infertility, and even how trauma affects future generations. It was packed with insight, tools, and transformative conversations that can truly elevate the support you offer your clients. What I am sharing with you in the following segment is a snippet from day 2, one of my favorite moments from the event. And here's the best part. I've made sure that you can access the entire event in the show notes. So if you couldn't attend live or you want to listen and add your own takeaways, just check the link in there. Trust me, it's worth it. Make sure to grab it, and let's keep growing this essential support together. Hyperarousal. So this is where that empowerment comes in. You're helping them get out of these states and come and find their balance, find their rest and digest state, find their ventral vagal state. And if they can do that enough, this is where their hormonal balance can start to find its way back to that normal sense of normal again. Does that make sense? Yeah. So a lot of people talk about online, just get into that rest and digest state, just stay there, just do that, just get there. And you're like, well, how? How do I do it first? And then what happens when you are bouncing around between the two other areas of survival response? So this is where all of those practices come into play, because you don't want to help them stay just in that calm and balanced state. You want them to feel empowered to get themselves back there when they have hit the other two sides. So some techniques, and like I said, I'm going to give you a PDF as well, because you need to really understand how the client is presenting to what technique to be able to give them. So I can say breathing exercises, but if they're coming in different states, sometimes a breathing exercise won't match the energy that needs to be expelled. So you need to sort of configure that for yourself with your client. But some techniques for regulation is breathing exercises, so such as deep breathing or diaphragmatic breathing can help calm the nervous system. Grounding exercises, like focusing on the senses or physical activities, can help clients stay present and reduce anxiety. Progressive muscle relaxation. This technique involves tensing and then slowly relaxing different muscle groups to release tension and promote relaxation. And mindfulness and meditation. So practices that encourage mindfulness and meditation can help clients become more aware of their thoughts and feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. And when you're working with the window of tolerance, this is where, if you are working with trauma, you don't want to open that window very much straight away. This is where it's like incremental when you're working with them. So you don't want them to become overwhelmed by their emotional responses, because if you flood them you're going to send them into a hyperarousal or hypoarousal. So again, it's for you as a practitioner to understand opening up this window, because it's going to be very tiny for them initially, slowly, incrementally, and then having the tools to bring them back out of these states into that. And then that's what you teach them and empower them with as well. So integrating regulation into care plans, personalized approaches. So tailor regulation techniques to the individual needs of each client, considering their preferences and comfort levels. Regular practice, encourage clients to practice these techniques regularly, both during sessions and at home, to build resilience and improve their ability to manage stress. And a supportive environment. So create an environment that supports regulation using calming colors, soothing sounds, and a peaceful atmosphere. By focusing on regulation, you can help clients manage their emotional and physical responses to trauma more effectively, enhancing their overall well-being and ability to cope with the challenges of pregnancy loss and infertility. So this is where I talk about the bottom-up approach, essentially, to trauma. So trauma triggers physical responses. It shuts down higher functioning parts of the brain that are rational. So working bottom up starts with the body and the fight and flight system to process emotions. So bottom up treatment interventions are believed by a growing number of complex trauma practitioners to regulate and adjust the visceral responses associated with complex trauma. This happens by resetting trauma-related emotional and sensory states stored within the limbic system and peripheral nervous system. So this is why it is so important to do these bottom-up approaches with women who are, or even just to have these tools and practices and view them through a trauma-informed lens, whether they have experienced trauma or not. Giving them these tools is going to be very powerful for them. Again, so this is what I'm going to provide in the PDF for you. Like I said, some techniques, depending on how the person is presenting, it'll have to be up to your discretion at the time. But a fight response, so when someone experiences the fight response, their body is preparing to confront a threat. So there's often increase in tension, anger, and frustration. So tools that could help them is progressive muscle relaxation, pushing against a wall, or grounding through stomping. The flight response is marked by a sense of urgency to escape or flee from a perceived threat. So the body might feel restless with increased heart rate and shallow breathing. Rhythmic walking or running in place, paced breathing, or shaking the body can help them through this. So again, it's meeting the energy where they're at, and giving them a tool that can help them through that. The freeze response occurs when the body becomes immobilized, often associated with feelings of numbness, disconnection, or being stuck. So body scanning with gentle tapping, humming, or vibration sounds, or slow conscious movement can help them through this. And the fawn response often manifests as people-pleasing or compliance to avoid conflict. There can be a sense of disconnection from personal needs and boundaries. So to help them, you could do boundary visualization, self-holding or hugging, or voice activation through vowel sounds, reconnecting to their voice and what their voice sounds like. So I have a PDF that will accompany this portion for you in where the replays will be. How are you all going? Good. I can see you all kind of like you've put your pens down and you're just like sitting back. You're like, I'll just soak this all in. Although Kelly's still writing like crazy. That's all good. So why it's important in fertility care. So trauma has both the psychological and physical impacts, which can contribute to infertility. It's known to affect the immune system, hormone regulation, and the nervous system. These changes can lead to increased inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and altered immune responses, all of which interfere with reproductive health. So, we're going to dive into postnatal support now. Do you have any questions on the trauma, anything trauma related before we dive in? So, I'm just going to offer some key postnatal support aspects for women. Um, Obviously, the rest we dive deeper into inside the course, but I want to provide you with some things to take away from here. Postpartum after loss is a unique experience, and true healing comes from acknowledging that this phase still deserves support, care, and compassion. Supporting women in postnatal recovery after pregnancy loss. When a woman experiences pregnancy loss, she may still go through the postpartum period physically and emotionally, even if there is no baby to hold. The unique challenges of this experience require sensitive, trauma informed care to support her healing. Because a lot of the time, when you, depending on what stage the pregnancy was at, there is an expectation for the woman to just go back to normal routine, where not necessarily that's not necessarily the case. There is still so much healing she has to do internally before she can move on. Just because I miscarried doesn't mean I missed postpartum. There is still so much. Your body's still birthed.
One in 4 pregnancies will result in miscarriage. 1 in 8 women will experience infertility. 1 in 100 women will experience recurrent miscarriage. And 1 in 160 births end in stillbirth. Have you been wanting to make a difference in the lives of women or men who have experienced pregnancy loss because you can see so many suffering in silence, but you just don't know how? Collectively, we can change how bereaved parents can access mental, physical, and emotional support after their experience. There is a lot of women with unhealed trauma, and there is a huge gap in the current support system when it comes to bereaved parents' recovery after loss. There are too many women and men suffering in silence. The Pregnancy Loss Practitioner Certification is a worldwide, one-of-a-kind program that gives you proven methods designed for healthcare professionals, medical staff, midwives, nurses, doulas, birth workers, coaches, and angel parents alike. The Pregnancy Loss Practitioner Certification is bridging that gap. It will give you a proven support structure to follow and education specific to pregnancy loss, created by a loss mum. It is creating more education specifically for loss so that you can enhance your service and become the point of difference. Or you can create the support that you so desperately needed in your healing after loss. This is the next level of growth and expansion you have been searching for. So does this sound like something that you have been searching for? Let's explore this more together. You can head to the episode show notes where you'll find the program application, or direct message me on Instagram and let's open up the conversation in how you can use this education. You have a gift, and I look forward to supporting you and witnessing you bring your gift to the world, healing and transforming women's lives.
A birth is a birth. Your body still birthed a baby, regardless of how long your pregnancy was. It was still a birth. So, yeah, thanks, Kelly. It's so important to understand just because you don't have that physical, tangible baby that people can see. And then at that point, you're expected to go through postpartum. At that point, you get, your maternity leave and you get the healing and you get the support. But just because you don't have that doesn't mean that you skip anything else that your body naturally goes through. So, acknowledging the full spectrum of grief, creating a safe space, provide a compassionate environment where women feel seen, heard, and validated in their grief, no matter how complex it may be, and be able to affirm their experience. Recognize that they are still experiencing postpartum changes, both physically and emotionally, even without the baby, and reassure them that the grief is a natural response to this deep loss. Not only does society is the grief illiterate, they don't know how to allow the space for grief, but again, they're still navigating the grief, they're still navigating that aspect of it, plus all of the hormonal changes that they're going to be experiencing from postpartum. Yeah, it's no different here, Melissa, either. There is no, yeah, and you don't even get anything at all, Kelly. It's not, it when I said that to someone just recently that we only get it's like 3 or 5 days or something, and they were literally dumbfounded that there was no support, no leave that you could take after a loss. And you're still going back to work in that time, navigating all of the emotional changes, but also all of the physical changes that your body has gone through. And where a normal mum with a living child would get to be at home and navigate those physical hormonal changes and shifts. I was told in one of the last master classes that I held that in that postpartum period is the biggest hormonal shift that a woman is ever going to experience in her life. So not only are you navigating one of the biggest hormonal shifts of your life, you also have to go back to work. You're expected to go and function like a normal human and do all of the things that you were doing before straight away. Um, Education on hormonal changes. So, educate about the hormonal shifts that still occur after pregnancy loss, including mood swings, lactation, or postpartum bleeding, helping normalize these experiences. Women going through loss, no matter how, more so probably from, I would say, the second trimester, your milk can start to come in. So, you can start to experience lactation from that point onwards. You will definitely still feel hormonal shifts even in the first trimester though. So there's not to say that at any point of the pregnancy, the woman is going to escape and be, not feel any of it. There will be elements of it that she will feel. The difference is the further along in the pregnancy, the more their body has, shifted through and adapted and changed. Um, Support for lactation suppression. So, offer guidance on how to manage or suppress lactation, as it can be a painful reminder of the loss. Introduce practices that help balance hormones, such as tailored nutrition, herbal remedies, or relaxation techniques. Yeah, Lisa, it's it, and you're not prepared. You're not given any resources or support for that. So then, and like it's a constant reminder of what your body was anticipating, what your body was preparing itself to do. It's still doing the thing that it should be doing, but then it's like a slap in the face for you because then you're like, well, I don't have my babies, and now my body is still going through this process. It's like your body doesn't realize that they're not there. Well, technically it doesn't because you still birthed. It's still going through the motions. So, just to have someone on the other side of you to give you that validation of like, yes, you're going to be experiencing this. And if you don't experience any symptoms, that's okay. But if you do, I'm here for you. I can help you through whatever it is that you're navigating. I've heard women still experiencing night sweats um, through uh, after loss as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you could have the whole range of it too. Um, but again, supporting them through it doesn't have to be difficult. There are easy ways that you can create practices around whether they want to suppress their milk or whether they actually do want to express, and then create practices around them expressing. So there was another, which is one of the bonuses that I put inside of this course. I interview a lactation consultant who helps bereaved mums. So she gives a lot of practices that you can do to help them, and really practical ways to help you suppress the milk and help them suppress the milk as well. Nervous system healing. So support the nervous system, regulation techniques like grounding exercises, breath work, and mindfulness to help manage anxiety and promote a sense of calm amidst the grief. Yes, I actually have. I did that for Poppy. I froze the milk and got milk jewelry made because I knew she would probably be my only child. So I wanted to really honor the fact that I was able to fall pregnant again and have a rainbow. And yeah, so I got milk jewelry made. So it's so beautiful that there are so many options. And you can also still, depending on the length of the pregnancy, um, do the umbilical cord keepsakes and stuff like that as well. They can put them into jewelry. There was other things that I had seen as well. So there is beautiful ways that you can honor those pregnancies, but definitely if you are wanting to, if your milk comes in and you're wanting to express, then create and having these options available to you, different things that you can do. Yeah, that's stuff that I wish that I had available to me as well. Um, Mental health check-ins. So advocate for ongoing mental health check-ins, emphasizing therapy, counseling, or peer support groups to help women navigate the emotional complexities of postpartum after loss. Not necessarily if you want to be that person for them, do you have to obviously recommend counseling, but these mental health check-ins are so important for them to understand that they don't have to navigate that on their own. Um, So, alongside the mental health check ins, you can also do physical health check ins and see how they're going physically. If there's any emotions, maybe that they might be harboring inside of them, helping them process what's happening. But the mental health check ins is going to help mitigate any possible postnatal depression, which can come from, which is actually, statistics have shown that women who have experienced um, stillbirth or pregnancy loss are at a higher risk of postnatal depression than those who haven't. So, if you can really emphasize these check ins, it can help mitigate any long term mental health disorders and issues afterwards. Physical recovery and care. So, obviously, nutritional support, ensure a balanced, nutrient rich diet to support hormone balance, tissue repair, and energy restoration. Rest and sleep. So, encourage restorative rest, acknowledging the fatigue and exhaustion that can come with both the physical recovery and the emotional grief. And rest and sleep can be very difficult to achieve when you are going through those real big moments of grief where you don't want to stop because your brain can't switch off. So really be maybe to help them um, with practices that can help their brain switch off. A lot of those body scans are really good because if their focus is on something else, which can help them then relax. And if they did it before sleep, they could naturally just drift off to sleep if they did it before bed. Gentle movement, so encouraging light, mindful movement when appropriate, like walking, stretching, or yoga to improve circulation, reduce stiffness, and promote gentle healing. And again, we don't want people to be, because society just thinks, oh, well, we'll just go back into normal functioning. You don't want them to go back into just going back to the gym like they were before. So, really just helping them understand that they can reduce it, they can pull it back, they can do something that is going to be nurturing their body in this healing period. Pain management, so acknowledge physical pain and offer options for managing it, whether through medication, warm compresses, or alternative remedies. So, healing postpartum after loss is not just about moving forward, it's about honoring the physical and emotional changes while creating space for new beginnings. And this was a screenshot of another professional that I was when I was doing and advertising all of this. She said it was an essential discussion. Every pregnancy ends in a birth and postpartum, regardless.
Thank you for listening in with me today. I hope you found this episode helpful. If you did, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it to social media, and tag me at Institute of Healing_PL. I love seeing what is resonating with you right now. If you want to chat further, I invite you to connect with me through Instagram. Head over and follow my Instagram account, send me a DM, and let's open the communication. If you want to know more about how you can be the support for others, head to the show notes and fill out the application form for the Pregnancy Loss Practitioner certification. I want to also note here that what I share within the episodes is not medical advice. If you need further support, please consult your doctor. Thank you again. Much love to you. Be gentle with yourself, and I look forward to supporting you on the next episode.